All right, so we have our first On the Couch session coming up. I got a couple of quick announcements, though. If everyone could have a seat, please. Find your seat. So one thing is that in the intro, we felt like it went pretty smooth, but I messed something up. Richard Branson is not coming on Sunday.
He's coming on Monday.
Yeah. So used to this point of doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday that I was like, Sunday. And then people were like, oh my God, I got to rebook my flight and this, that. No. Saturday, day 3 of the event, as planned, day 3, nothing to worry about there. So now that you're at your seats, I want you all to write something down. Write this URL down. You may or may not use it, but I just want you to write it down because we don't have it on the slide. It's just amazing.com/smart. S-M-A-R-T. Amazing.com/smart. S-M-A-R-T. Did I spell that wrong? Amazing.com/smart. Y'all know how to spell it. Tomorrow, we're going to be having a little competition up here. We've done it in the past. It's always an amazing time. So we're going to be having a competition where you get the opportunity to share your best tip, trick, strategy for selling physical products on Amazon or off Amazon. The best tips, tricks, or strategies are ones that have gotten real results. You've actually generated sales in most cases, got some sort of financial benefit from it. So if you feel you have a really cool tip, trick, or strategy that's likely outside the scope of what's already in ASM, we'd love to hear about it. So if you go to amazing.com/smart, that's how you enter the competition. And so you need to fill that out by today at 5 p.m. And then we'll go through all those and we'll pick about 5 people or so to come up here, enter the competition, reveal your strategy. You'll have 3 minutes to do it tomorrow on stage, 3 minutes, and we'll do some live voting here. And the prize is, first off, you get a 1-hour consultation with Jason and I, a private consultation. We'll talk whatever you want to talk about your business, obviously completely confidential, and we'll give you $500 on stage. So amazing.com/smart. This is the smartest Amazon seller competition. So we'd love to see you all enter. We'll be going through those tonight, and the competition will be tomorrow. So go for it.
All right, cool. So our first On the Couch interview is someone who I just love interviewing because we resonate from one level, and that's lifestyle. You know, I've made a commitment that I only want to work 6 hours a day. And one of the reasons I did that is because I want to have fun in life. And so this next guest is someone who is making an absolute killing on Amazon, but is making sure she's doing it so she's having fun traveling the world. And the way she's done it in the last few months to really like double her growth, I think it might be triple, I can't remember, we'll talk to her in a sec. It's something so simple, but huge. So we're gonna get to that right now. But I would like to welcome to the stage, Qzx909 Verity. Nice.
Are you good? Okay.
Get the chair.
I love you. Thanks, Angel.
I think they're talking to Matt, actually.
This chair's a bit big.
Oh, that's cute.
I'm just gonna laugh.
There you go.
It's nice.
All right.
Where's the beer?
So just so everyone knows, I'm not texting. I put all my questions on my phone so that I could just easily reference here. So first of all, let everyone know, when did you join ASM, Qzx9, and how much are you at right now?
I joined at ASM 1, but I didn't really start selling until September 2013. And last year, I did $1.5 million in revenue, and currently at $280,000 a month.
280,000, right on. Now, one of the things, first of all, I just want to go back for a second because you said you didn't start right away. What held you up? Because I'm sure there's people in this room too that have joined and still just haven't gotten started. What happened?
I had a job. Yeah, I couldn't really, I had a corporate job, and it was a global role, so essentially I had to be up for like, 8 or 9 hours or 10 hours a day doing that role, and it was pretty stressful. So actually, I've been trying to find stuff to get out of that for a long time, and I saw this course, and it just made perfect sense to me. Perfect. So I started doing it, and I realized this is definitely going to work as soon as I started doing the modules and the courses. So what I did was, I thought, I need time. This is what I need to be able to just drive this as quick, because I was kind of desperate to get out of this job. So I went to work and actually negotiated a redundancy.
Say that last.
I've negotiated a redundancy. I don't know if you call that redundancy here. I don't know. Or severance. So I basically, there was 3 people that were doing the similar role as me, and I said, you probably don't need 3, you probably only need 2. So, and I'll go, that's great. So I did that, and I got a wad of cash for leaving, and essentially, I just went to Bali and set it up there. I just sat, in front of my pool every day, and sat there, did all the modules about 3 times.
That sounds tough.
It was really tough.
Yeah.
But I needed to kind of cut myself off because I really wanted to get there quick. So
what was you said you were desperate to leave. Did you hate your job, or was it you felt trapped, or?
Yeah, I felt trapped. I live in Australia. I'm English, but I live in Australia. And anybody who Aussie!
Australia!
And to get anywhere out of Australia, you need at least 2 weeks to just go somewhere. So that's your annual leave gone. And I really love to travel, and I love. I just wanted to be free. I just felt like I was so trapped.
And did you ever run a business before this at all?
No.
No, so this was your very first time.
Yeah.
So when you started, how long did it take you before you started getting momentum in sales? So you started, September?
September 2013. I did 5K in my first month.
Okay.
And I got up to 10 by month 3. And I got a bit stuck, and I was like, I'm not really sure what, I was doing the tools and everything, but I wanted it to be quicker. I was like, I need this to be quicker. And then I came to the Austin event, so this time last year, and actually it was Ryan Moran's presentation that I saw, and it just made perfect sense because I felt like I was getting overwhelmed with a lot of stuff that I needed to do, and I just didn't know which ones to do first. So Ryan really talked about, just pick one thing every day that gets you a sale and then also gets you a review. So the first thing I did when I got back was I set up a Facebook page, I gave away product, I got velocity of sales, and then I also hired a VA in the Philippines to call and contact all my customers to get reviews as quickly as possible. So those were the 2 key things that I did. And
was that just with one product?
One product.
One product, okay.
And by the end of January, so the Austin event was early January. By the end of January, I was already up to 30,000. So
you went from how much into?
10 to 30.
Wow, so you tripled in 1 month.
Tripled in 1 month, yeah.
And what was the main reason? Did you think those 2 things?
Just those 2 things. I've been really focused. I just didn't want to get distracted, so I literally just did something every day that got me a sale. So it could be even things like I was checking all my conversion rates, making sure that I was converting well. If I wasn't converting, I was thinking, well, what are the key things that drive conversion? So is my price too high? Are my keywords right? So just really sort of looking at those tweaks, and I think it's the small tweaks that make the big difference. So I just really focused on my listing, my keywords, my pricing, and my pictures. So just basically looking making sure it looked good.
Yep.
Because I'd never done any internet marketing. I was a bit scared of driving traffic. And, I'd tried some Google ads before, but I had no idea what I was doing. So I thought, well, everybody's on Amazon. They're going there to buy stuff. So why don't I just try and get those people that are just going there to buy stuff on Amazon rather than driving traffic to the listing? So that's why I focused on the listing.
So are you currently advertising outside of Amazon, or are you you're still just 100% Amazon? Isn't that incredible? She does no external advertising. She runs everything just purely on the Amazon system itself, and she's doing, what, $250,000 a month right now?
280, yeah.
280,000 a month. And the reason I want to stress that to everyone is because oftentimes you guys are looking for that magic button. You think there's some magic formula that's something else. It's not. Amazon itself can make a huge amount of traffic for you. That doesn't mean that she shouldn't, and I'm assuming you've got plans to start. But don't get lost in focus. That's such an important thing, I think, initially, is just focus on Amazon right now. Don't worry about all those other things. Get your business running, get focused, and in a year from now, hopefully you'll be in a position like her where now you can start thinking bigger. So that's great.
The only other thing I did do was Amazon ads. So again, it's on Amazon, but I did a lot of keyword research, made sure I had loads of keywords out there, and just started converting that way as well and driving a bit more visibility.
So one of the secrets to your success, which isn't really a secret, but it's such a powerful thing and such an easy thing, over the last few months you've been able to pretty much triple your business, right?
Yeah.
Could you share how that's happened?
Yeah, so I thought, I didn't want to work too hard because I wanted to travel a lot, so I was like, what can I do that it takes the least amount of time or least amount of effort for me? And this is the way my brain works. So I thought, well, why don't I just take what I'm already currently doing on .com and do it in the UK, and then look to replicate that across the Amazon marketplaces. So I first launched into the UK, and I pretty much doubled the business in about a month. And then I launched into Germany in November of this year. And last year, sorry, and now I'm just expanding across Europe. Yeah, so just by doing those couple of things, I managed to double and then triple the business.
So just so that everyone knows, so that as you saw earlier where Matt was showing you, where Germany was doing about 12 billion a year and the UK doing 9 billion, as much as that seems smaller, one of the things that interests me that you shared too is that you were actually more profitable with Could you explain why that too?
Yeah, so in .co.uk, so for the UK guys that are here, you'll know that the prices are a lot higher in the UK than what they are in the US. So you can essentially, you take the same product, you're obviously making more of it, so you can actually then get better cost of goods from your supplier, and then you charge a higher price in the UK, so you actually make more per unit than what you would do in the US.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And now, one of the challenges, though, and I know the VAT tax, so I'm sure there's a lot of people here that are thinking, man, I've got my product. And one of the things I want you to hear with this is you don't have to have a great big brand lineup. She's doing, well, how many products did you have at the time when you moved?
I've got 3.
She had 3 products, that's it. So she's not making this, selling hundreds of products. She's got 3 products that she got success. And before you moved to the UK, did you have the 3 already?
No, I only had 1 actually, yeah.
Oh.
So, had 1 product, I've launched it into the UK, and then I launched 2 products at a similar time, but I didn't launch those until September 2014.
Huh.
So I pretty much had 1 product for a year, and then I launched 2 at the same time, and I launched that in the UK, and then
cool.
I've just launched them all now into Germany.
And then where did you get up to from a monthly revenue standpoint with just that 1 product?
80,000.
80,000.
Yeah.
$80,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had a lot of people in the survey that it's kind of funny to well, I guess it's not really funny, but like you see it a lot of times. It's like they're like, oh, this product is not quite working out. I'm looking for a new product, or this product is a dud. I got to find a new product. But it's like, in my opinion, and what we've seen is everyone has this. Everyone doubts the product that they've chosen just because it didn't just magically take off. But in all likelihood, I'm sure you could imagine that like a lot of times it's just they're not doing enough of the stuff to actually get that product to take off.
Yeah, and the reason I stuck with the 1 was that I didn't have a lot of cash flow at that point, so I couldn't really afford to invest in another product with a lump of cash. And so I just built that up. I think Ryan was talking about it this morning. So I built up the cash reserves, and then that's when I launched the other products. But yeah, it really forced me to get the most out of the 1 product.
Right.
Very cool. Yeah. Now, I know everyone here is probably wanting to learn more about the UK and Germany, but I want to step back for a sec because, if you go back in time a year from now, like, what's going through your head when you look at where you are now compared?
I just can't believe it, honestly. It's like, I remember being in Austin, and I was at that point of, I'm earning some money. I'm getting the sales, but I just didn't really know what I was going to, if it was going to go any further than that. And I talked a lot about freedom, and I really wanted to travel and fund that travel, which I did. And I thought, well, I can wait until I get the cash in and go on a big holiday, or I'll just start to actually do my business, and because I can be geographically independent. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did, and so therefore I kind of achieve the lifestyle while still building the business. And I stayed in lots of cheap countries, so I actually ended up spending a lot less cash than what I would have done if I'd have just stayed in Sydney.
Wow, that's interesting.
And I visited about 15 countries last year, just, you know, hanging out and...
15 countries, building $1 million bear. Yeah. Who here wouldn't mind doing that? Just out of curiosity. That's awesome. So what's next for you, really? Like, you've got this momentum going. Are you going to start expanding your products, going to new places? What's going on?
Yeah, so new products. I've built a plan for this year, so I'll probably do about another 4 products this year, still under the same brand. And then I'm going to expand across other markets. So I'm looking at Japan at the moment, and potentially India, but I think that's going to be a bit more difficult, but, you know, have a look into, but there's a massive market there. And then... yeah, looking to also build off of Amazon. So really, you know, start to build a bigger business. So Amazon's been brilliant to set up. Obviously, you can generate a lot of income from it. But I also want to be able to sort of spread my eggs a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of the things, I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the things you don't want to do, and you heard Ryan reference it a little bit this morning, is you never want to just have your eggs in one basket. And my recommendation is for everyone in here, set a goal for like 5 years where Amazon's only a percentage of your income. You know, think of this, if you could be maxing out on Amazon and it's only like 20 or 30% of your income because you've developed your business outside of Amazon, you're in a much safer place, because as you've heard, like, Amazon could just not like your brand for some reason anymore. So that's very wise. Like, you definitely don't make this an Amazon business, make it a physical products business that you leverage Amazon to use. So that's great to hear. Yeah. Thanks for that. I think that was my buddy Ben that started that. That's good. So I want to go back to the UK now, because I know it's not, you know, as much as we say you can just go and start selling there, it is a little bit more complicated than that. Could you just share kind of your experience and learnings, and maybe anybody here that wants to get into the UK, some tips that might help them?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's obviously different if you don't actually live in that country, and I think for me it wasn't as difficult a mind shift because I'm not actually selling in the country that I live in. So what you need is a good freight forwarder who can get your product there and can actually get the product through customs and make sure that when you send a product to the UK, you have to pay VAT, so a value-added tax on your on the actual cost of the product itself. So you need someone to sort that out for you. And then, but essentially the process is exactly the same as getting it to Amazon from there. So you do your shipping plan in exactly the same way. Seller Central looks exactly the same. And the other sort of key point is more from a consumer sales perspective. So you essentially act as anybody in the UK would know this, you essentially act as a tax collector for the UK government. So every product has a sales tax on it of 20%, and you need to price your products accordingly to take that 20% into account. And then what you do every quarter is you have to then lodge a VAT tax lodgement, and then you pay that 20% of those sales to the government in the UK. But the other cool thing is that you can actually claim back your seller fees, so as a cost of business. So you'd never really end up paying the full 20%. You end up paying around 13%.
And because of the fact that, you know, for example, I sold on the UK, and what I found was when I had a $20 product, I could sell it for £20, which obviously is a higher price. And you were saying the same thing, where you can actually sell it for more. But the interesting thing is, so with the UK, that one seems more logical because it's in English on English. But what about Germany, though? Because that seems like a whole different animal. How did that process go?
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty simple. You have to translate everything. Or it's better if you do. You can actually sell in English if you like, but you know, you get better conversions if you actually translate. I've actually sent product directly to the German warehouse, mainly to just overcome buyer objections around, you know, the actual time it takes for the product to get to them. But you can actually just put all your inventory in amazon.co.uk. People can go onto the German website, buy from the German website, but your inventory can be sent from the UK to Germany.
What's the drawback of doing that?
I think it just takes longer to get to the customer. So
can you keep, so, because I know one of the issues I think you said was when you do the Germany, when you actually have to have German packaging, don't you?
You don't have to have German packaging, no.
Customer support.
Customer support,
that's what it was.
yeah. So, yeah, all your emails has to be in German, and I've employed a German customer service person to call my customers.
Who lives in the Philippines.
Who lives in the Philippines, yes, randomly. Yeah, so I've employed someone to do that. But actually, you know, you can just use if you really want to sort of do it, you know, get down and dirty, you can pretty much use Google Translate, and sometimes I'd have to do that myself if I can't get in touch with him. So I just like copy and paste into Google Translate, and I can kind of work out what they're asking. Yeah,
it works pretty
then
good.
I write it in English and then whack it back. Yeah.
That's great. So how long did it take? Because, you know, obviously when you create, and someone asked me this earlier, actually, they approached me about how to get their product in the Canadian one. There's a seller central for each area, right? But so there is a different seller central for Germany, but you can also just use, so you don't need to set up a separate one if you don't want to?
It's all, so Amazon.co.uk is actually Amazon Europe. So it's one seller central account which services all of Europe. Well, it's actually France, Germany, Italy, and Spain, and the UK. Okay. So you can run everything direct from that account. All you need to do is choose the market that you want to sell in, and then you add a product in exactly the same way. So that's where you put your translations in.
So did you do it that way first, or?
Yeah.
Okay, but now you're using FBA in Germany?
Yeah, I use FBA in Germany, but it's still the same process in terms of setting up your listing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you, correct me if I'm wrong, you source your products from China and just ship directly there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the process? Is that just as easy as sending to the States? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just as easy. I mean, there's just certain different requirements. You need like a specific duties number so that you have to apply for that. In the same way that you would in the US, it's just different. But then once you have that, then that services the rest of Europe. So you can basically sell in any country in Europe with that.
So when you went to the UK and Germany, what did you do to promote? Because things seemed to take off very fast for you. What happened there?
Yeah, I just did what I did in the US. So I literally just gave, you don't have to give as much product away. So I gave about 50 units away.
How many? 50?
50.
50, okay.
Yeah. And I optimized my listing, and I was .1 within about 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it keeps your reviews until new reviews are added, doesn't it?
Yes. So .co.uk actually brings over your reviews from the US site. It's not directly underneath. So, you know, when you look at, you type in your keyword and all the products pop up, you can see the review stars. It doesn't pop up there. It's actually at the bottom of your listing. But it does mean that if anybody's looking, clicked on your listing, you haven't got any of your own reviews yet. But if they scroll down, they can see all the reviews from the US. So actually, you've got a better chance to convert quicker before you get your own reviews in.
So what was your biggest lesson learned? I want to ask that question in two ways. So just right now, related to going on Seller Central in different countries, what was the biggest lesson learned for you? Whether it was it easier than you thought? Was there something that was bigger challenge than you thought?
It's just a lot easier to rank. Yeah, I mean, like I'd spent so long trying to, eking my way up the rankings in the US. It took me 3 months to hit that #1 spot. And then I did it in 2 weeks in the UK. And the units, I was really surprised by, the volume. And the fact that essentially I can pretty much generate the same amount of revenue from less units in the UK and in Europe.
So for having been there and done that and been through this experience, for a lot of people in here, they just joined ASM in October. So they're fairly new, they're getting their products, they're dealing with suppliers, they're getting their product live. A lot of them already have it live and they're just waiting to sort of kick up sales. So for somebody just starting out in this business, assuming they're starting on Amazon.com, like when do you think is the good time for them to start looking at those international platforms? Like at what point in their business do you think that makes sense? I
think maybe 3 to 4 months in, when you've got an established product, you've learned the ropes. I'd say learn them first, because I learned a lot of lessons in the US first, and I think that's why it felt a lot easier when I went to the UK. So I would definitely say, make sure that you're confident in your product, and that might take some people 2 months, but it might take them 6 months. And then look to go into other platforms, because it'll be a lot quicker to be able to sort all the shipping out, and because it's those little things that can trip people up. And if you're not confident in what you're doing, that can actually be detrimental to your success. And you just want to feel like you're just replicating. That was the best bit for me. I just felt like all I was doing was kind of plugging and playing, as opposed to learning again.
Sure.
So did you create a corporation or a company or anything? Because right now I'm going through the process again with my business partner on the products for setting up in the UK, and we're setting up a new UK company to help with the VAT tax. Did you go through all that process too?
No, I didn't even think about it, to be honest, until the other day. And then Shane just talked to a lawyer about it. So yeah, I'm going to do that when I get back. But yeah, you don't need to do that to get set up.
Okay.
I'm very much like, I don't really work everything out before I do it. I just kind of do it and then see what happens.
Just go. That's why you're sitting here right now. I mean, that's actually so true, and I hope you guys take inspiration from that, because I think, actually, I just heard the quote, if you're going to be a perfectionist, do it on your own time. Don't do it in your business, because there's so many mistakes you're going to learn, but it's those mistakes that will get you to be as close to perfect as possible. So that's really encouraging.
I mean, even with my first products, now I wouldn't recommend you do this, by the way, but because I was in Bali, I didn't know where I was going to. I didn't have an address, so I just got my supplier to send me a photo of the product, and I went, oh yeah, that looks good, yeah, and it went to Amazon, and now it's like one of the #1 products, yeah, which is quite funny.
Cool.
But I wouldn't recommend you do that, by the way.
So you had a very good last few months, and you said that was actually a surprise to you. So could you share why that was a surprise and why it was also so good?
Yeah, so obviously just launched in Germany, and that started to go well, and then it hit Christmas, and last year I was still selling at Christmas, but I saw a little bit of an uplift, but not too much. But yeah, I pretty much tripled sales for the month of December, which was absolutely amazing. So next year, what I didn't do, I didn't drop my prices or anything. I just kept it there. But next year, I'm actually thinking about raising my prices at Christmas, and because I could just feel there's like this buying frenzy of stocking fillers, and people aren't really looking at the price. They're just like, okay, that looks cool. I'm just going to pop it in there. And if you're #1 or you're at the top of the page, then I think that's why I started to get a lot of the volume, because people can't be bothered scrolling and searching.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed for the last, for Cyber Monday and that, is our conversion rates when we're doing split tests and we're looking, and the conversion rates and traffic both increase. So it's not just that there's more traffic happening during that time. People are just buying, so if you can, make sure you have a lot of inventory for next Christmas, because and one of the things that I thought was really cool too is you saw earlier when Matt was explaining those diagrams, people keep talking about Amazon being, oh, you can't let any more people go on Amazon. It's like, I'm sorry guys, like right now there is so little competition. Like we have people doing way better than they've ever done before, and it's because the growth of Amazon. Right now is the time to get in, and there's just huge things coming, and this is proof right here. I know some of her products, and I'm telling you, they're not unique products from the perspective of nobody else is selling. They're extremely competitive products, and she's in here doing incredibly well. It's for everyone. Amazon is just so incredible right now, so really congratulations on that. That's an incredibly cool story. I also want to shout out that at the last event, there was a few concerns that we didn't have a female on the stage on the couch. So I'd like to also welcome our first female to have her.
I'm a female. Go power.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that. So what has been, because you're really just focused on Amazon. So what would you say, is the best marketing strategy you have? What is it that you focus on that you think is really, obviously going to Amazon.co and everything, but you were already creating super good momentum before that. How are you doing it?
My strategy was really focusing on the brand. So I wanted to build and be really focused on my target market. So rather than go too broad, so I'm in a category where you could be really general. But I actually wanted to target a specific target audience. And that really then helped me tailor my brand and my messaging, which then helped me get really good reviews, because it's those types of people that are using the product. And then they were giving really sort of detailed reviews about how the product worked and the key benefits of the product for them. And then the conversion rate started, to really accelerate. So I think that's, for me, was one of the key successes. And
I just want to dig out on that for 1 sec, just so I make sure. So instead, like, let's just say you had, you know, an iPhone cover. Instead of just saying, well, everyone wants an iPhone cover, you actually pick like a specific tight niche in that market and just focused on that.
Yes.
Excellent.
So,
okay.
but what I'm thinking about doing now is actually taking the same products and targeting them at a different target market within that niche, if you know what I mean.
Well, so will you do it under the same brand, or will you try a brand new brand?
I'll do different brands.
That's a very cool idea.
So so the products can work across the different markets.
Okay. Yeah. Now I know you're a big advocate of customer support too. So maybe just talk, because that's something we really want to drive in, because the customer experience, having those customers feel a part of a process is huge. But maybe just explain what you do to help your customers really get the best experience possible.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time crafting a persona as well. So it's not me, it's, it's someone who's going to talk directly to that target market. So I made sure that my emails were in that tone, and that I'm constantly asking for feedback. So I do about 3 emails, but one is specifically talking to, email us back and we'll get back to you straight away. And that way I found that you got a lot more interaction with customers or engagement with customers. And then I've hired, so I've got a VA that works across, one in the UK, one in the US, and one in Germany now, obviously. And they answer they've got a target of answering all feedback within 3 hours. So they have to get back to the customer ASAP. I refund, if there's any issues with the product, I refund it straight away and I give them a new one. And people are just amazed by that. So, I get fantastic reviews from that. Very cool. And they also answer all seller feedback and ask for a review as well. So I get a lot of reviews that way. So
instead of a generic kind of response, you make it a very personalized, tailored, very cool. So if somebody says something specifically about, I love this, and this is, it helped me do X, Y, and Z, then we definitely go back and say, I'm so glad you were able to do that. That's amazing. And close the loop. Yep, that's very cool. And what's really important with the customer experience, the word she said, which I think so many people are missing the boat on, is engagement. Engaging in real life when you own a business is easy. You can shake hands, you can interact. Engaging online, you got to listen and you got to interact, through word and pull them into conversations. And actually, you need to ask them. You need to pull them into the conversation and not just asking about feedback, but when they do engage with you, talk to them in a voice. Like, I love what you did is you created a persona, a character, someone they could relate to in that niche that communicates right to them, so they feel that they have a personal connection with the product owner or the product itself, which obviously is going to make repeat purchases because they're going to feel that tie to it. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys, which is absolutely this is so valuable, when you're creating your plan with your product, think about the customer, think about your target market, who you want to be talking to, and craft your communications just for that. The moment you try to be the end all to everyone, that was like us initially with the Amazon Money Machine. We tried to appease everybody. We ended up relaunching it, just focus on one business model. It exploded. You need to just focus, and if you can get your audience to listen to your one message and your one voice, they'll engage with you to a level that I promise you will. We'll have them coming back buying over and over again, but the bigger thing is talking about you. When you can start to get your customers being your bigger referrals, and I guarantee you, I know we can't, prove it probably, but I guarantee you your success is because you built a relationship with them. And I mean, I do get a lot of people actually emailing me back, just saying, my friend recommended this to me, it's amazing. And so I do get a lot of that actually. And so much with the world today, with the internet, it's cold. You just order it and you get it and it's done. When you can add that little personal touch, it's absolutely huge. So really, really cool.
I believe yesterday at the Mastermind follow-up day, you said that you are pretty big with this brand doing social media. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about how you do that and how you engage people outside of Amazon using that? Yeah, so I'm not really tech savvy, so my website is only still being developed now. So so I decided to just focus on social media because I kind of knew how to do it. So I've got all the social networks. All the major ones like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, etc. And I just I'll get a VA to do it now, but post something every day. Probably 2 or 3 things every day, and really talking to that target market.
And I don't run promotions really from it, but I do, I'll put occasionally a link to the products. I've just started to do, you can do an offer on Facebook now. So you just click it and it posts it straight to the page. And I just started doing that and experimenting with that. And that's working quite well as well. But yeah, I've got really good communities of people. So I've also got 2 Facebook pages that are dedicated to the subject as opposed to the actual brand. So I use those a lot as well to foster those communities. But yeah, I've got nearly 100,000 people, 100,000 fans now.
So just that
How many?
everyone understands.
100,000.
100,000
fans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good job. So just so that people understand that, in case you missed it, when she was saying she has a brand, so if your brand is ABC, but then she also has other pages that focus more on more like a feeling or thought.
Yeah.
So like you might have one like cooking recipes is your brand, and then you might have one, mothers or something, something that affects your niche. Yeah, exactly. So that's very cool. So out of your subscribers, is that over the 3 pages you have, or just your brand one?
Over the 3.
Okay,
Over the 3.
that's still very impressive. So cool. So what, one of the powers you don't want to, like, you might talk with social media, oh, that doesn't really matter. It does, because one of the powers she has in her back pocket now is, let me guess, what's the next thing you do when you launch a product, a brand new product?
Yeah, go straight there and give product away.
Yeah, I mean, that is so valuable. I can guarantee you, with the power you have right now, you can pretty much come out with any product and be a top seller within a week. I mean, I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 products that I launched at the same time, they were #1 within 2 weeks. Yeah.
And when did you start? Because, it's so inspiring to hear you do that, because that was one of the first things I did. Back in 2005, I started building a mailing list. You started doing that right away. So when did you start doing that?
I didn't actually build a mailing list.
Well, you built a list, like an audience,
yes,
like the pages.
I started doing it when I came to Austin. So Ryan talked about it.
Yep.
And I thought, well, brilliant, I get that, because it's easy to set up a page. So,
How did you grow to that many people, though? Is it just customers, or did you do advertising?
I did advertising.
Okay.
I just did $5 a day. I got really focused on my targeting.
Okay.
And now it costs like 2 cents per click or something to acquire a fan. Yeah.
Okay.
And I do get a lot of engagement on the pages as well. So there's lots of shares, and because the content's good. So
absolutely. Yeah. One of the things I talked about yesterday, our group, was just that idea of getting them to buy again. And one of the things I want to bring that up in is because when you sell, you make that initial sale. Oftentimes, especially when we're starting a business, we think, okay, good, I'm done with that person, on to the next person. Instead of realizing, no, you've got a diamond there. You've got someone that has already been sold by you. Now all you have to do is give awesome customer support, occasionally talk to them, and then when you have an offer, show them an offer. It's logical, it's simple, but it's so powerful, and so many of us are forgetting to do it. So I recommend everyone here right now, start building some sort of database of customers, whether it be a mailing list, a Facebook page. The only thing I'm skeptical about of a Facebook page is you never really own that yourself, so I really encourage people to do a mailing list. But at least you're doing something, and you're doing something very, very well. And I know, as you said yesterday, you are looking at, something else that's really incredible about is that she knows she's only doing a small portion of what she's doing. She doesn't care, because she's focused on it and doing it really well. So even though there's 90 other things she could be doing, she's not distracted by that. She's just focusing on a few things, getting them done, and then slowly expanding it. And I know a lot of us are impatient. I mean, who here is impatient and wanting to be farther ahead than they are now? I mean, yeah. And the reality is, when that starts happening, you get impatient, you get flustered, and just the power. And something else you've said that I want to bring up in a second, but that focus. And one of the things that you did, which was very similar to me, when I first started on Amazon, and within 4 months I was able to get up to $100,000 a month, I built a daily plan based on a year goal. And you did something very similar, right?
Yeah, I did. So I just thought it'd be cool to have $1 million. So I said, right, I'm going to do $1 million this year.
On Amazon, yeah?
Yeah. And I built a plan based on that. So I'd already started selling. So I thought, well, I know what my volume is. So if I just did that 3 times, then I'll get to $1 million. So I just kind of broke it and made it really simple. And if I do that across multiple platforms, then that's when I'll achieve it. So I also, because the one thing I did is think about, I wanted freedom. So I didn't do anything that took that away, because I was like, well, this is the reason why I'm doing this business. I don't want to be working 10 hours a day building this business. I want to be so focused that I only need to do it for 4 hours a day or 3 hours a day or miss days if I need to. So especially when you're traveling, you want to see the places where you are. So I did do something every day, but it could just be checking emails or something like that. So I just made sure that the plan was built to give me the lifestyle as opposed to me, just trying to slave away at trying to do it. So I think that's what really got me focused.
So at this point, I mean, what do you do personally in the business that you're sort of still responsible for? And you don't have to say everything, but what are some of the major things you let other people do?
In terms of what I do, I'm still picking products. So I'll do picking products. Okay. I'm still building my own listings, but I want to outsource that as well. My partner joined me as well, so he's doing all the supply chain now. So I just get really focused on the marketing, and I manage the VAs. So I have one VA that does all the social media stuff for me, and then I've got all the VAs that do the customer service.
But you did most all of that initially by
I did
yourself.
it all myself.
It's only recently that you've only hired people, isn't it? Like a few months ago?
I've had a couple of VAs since probably 3 months in.
Okay.
Because again, for the lifestyle piece, and I thought it took me a while to train them, but stick with it, because the one thing that you need to think about with VAs is that you just need to be very clear about what you want. Because if you're not clear, then they won't do a good, or you'll feel like they're not doing a good job for you. But it's generally because you haven't actually given them the good brief in terms of, because sometimes you want to get everything done really quickly, and you're like, oh, I'll just go and do this, and they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Has anyone experienced that already? Doing that? I know I have so often, and I just want to really emphasize that point, because if you hire someone just because, well, I need this, I'm going to hire them, what's going to happen is you're going to actually get less productivity because you're going to get sidetracked, anxious, you're feeling like you're wasting money. Take the time, draw out a good job description, and make sure you have a really detailed plan when you hire that person so that they can take it over. So what I recommend every one of you do now is, while you're going through your daily task, start documenting everything. Make a training list so that when it comes to when you can hire someone, you can just hand it over to them and they have all the information. Trust me, it saves so much time.
And just really treat them like they're part of your business. The guys that work for me, they're always like, oh, we've got this many reviews now, and and they're actually checking stuff for me, and I haven't even asked them to check it.
Very cool.
And they just feel really inspired by working in that business. So there's one girl who does my customer service. She was working for a big multinational doing their customer service, like BMW, I think. She had to travel 2 hours to her job, and she was getting paid $1 an hour. So now she works from home, and her husband's joined her, and he's doing it with her as well. And I pay them $6 an hour.
Wow.
So for her, you might feel like, oh, I'm only paying him $6 an hour, but she said it's changed their life in terms of what they're doing. So think about that as well.
Absolutely, very cool. I just want to say, I just got Doug Burnup is saying, hi all, isn't Christy fantastic? So,
oh, yay!
Yeah.
I'll pay you later.
Yeah. So that's very cool. Now, I don't know, did we plan on having questions?
Depends if we have time.
Okay, so we got 10 minutes now. Does anyone here have some questions they'd love to ask Kirsty? Because I can just, okay, I see a couple. Let's just take a few questions because we got 10 minutes. So there's...
there's a microphone right here and a microphone right there. If we could get these live, y'all can come up to the microphones. Got somebody running.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to beat her.
So if you can, when you go to the microphone, make sure it's almost touching your lips so that it's very loud. And just introduce yourself, what your name is, and then ask away.
Christy, you can't see my face because I'm behind the
Hang
table.
on, let's get it so she can... Yeah.
There we go. Hi, I'm Linda, and I just launched my product October 15th and knew immediately I wanted to take it to Europe, so thank you for the inspiration. When you speak of your virtual assistants, are they going into your Amazon Central account, creating the fulfillment orders to replace units, doing all of the emailing from in there? They actually have access to that.
Yeah, so you can create a sub-account. So in the same way that you can on the Amazing Academy, you can create a sub-account in your Seller Central account. So they only have access to certain things. But yeah, they do that. So if we get people saying, oh, it's broken or something, then they can, automatically fulfill it.
Thank you.
Cool.
Hi, Christy. It's Kirsty, right?
Kirsty, yeah.
Hi. I'm Babe, and I work with VAs right now in my other business. Do you have your VAs calling people, or is it all?
Yeah.
So the language is important, so you make sure that they speak the language that you need?
Yes, yeah. And yeah, make sure they've got good English, and that's why the Philippines is pretty good, actually, because it's kind of their second language. They've actually, you know, the people that I've hired have actually got a slight American accent anyway, so...
Okay.
Yeah, just make sure that you interview them and you Skype with them and that you're really happy with them. And the other thing I do is I actually give them a script and then I get them to do a call with me, so as though I'm the customer, just to make sure that you know, they've got the objections down and they know exactly what they're doing.
Well, when is it that they're actually calling them? Because I haven't got enough experience to know that yet.
I basically just say to them, you know, we're calling from X company, and just to see how you're going with your product. Just make sure everything's okay for you. And they usually either say yes or no, usually yes. And you go, oh, great, you know, I'd love, you know, would you like a 20% off coupon? Yeah, that'd be great, brilliant. Can I email that to you? And also, when I email it to you, would you mind if I leave a link in that email so you can leave us a review? So that's generally the sort of process that I use. So I do get a lot of reviews that way as well. Okay. And we also overcome a lot of objections. So, you know, if something's gone wrong with the product, but you know, they haven't bothered to email us, we can actually resolve the issue for them there and then.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Cool.
Hi, Christy. Derby Perez. I wanted to ask you, when you do your listings, do you do it via flat files or do you do it regular listings?
I do it manually, yeah. I haven't worked out that flat file yet. It's a bit scary, so okay. I might get Shane to do it for me. But yeah, I just do it automatically, manually, yeah. But I think it is better to do it with a flat file, probably, if you can be bothered, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just really want to add again, that's just proof again that you don't have to worry. Make sure, don't worry that you're not doing everything. Just do a few things really well. Like they asked about the flat file. Yeah, that makes a difference, but it's not a focus she needs to worry about right now. So
I just do the stuff that I know I'm good at. So I just do the stuff I know I'm good at. Or I get, you
exactly.
know, I understand, yeah. Hi.
Hi, my name is Dawn, and first of all, thank you. I'm so inspired to see you up here and everything you've shared. My question is actually about your social media, and you're talking about having pages that are more about a subject, yeah. And then you're occasionally doing little links in there for product announcement and giving away products. That seems brilliant to me because, again, you're not using the traditional emailing and so on, but it sounds like you're doing both now from what you just said. Yeah. Yeah, so can you expand a little bit about how you set up, how you got the traffic to your social media sites? Yeah, so I just set up an ad, a Facebook ad, and it just says, if you like this, then like us. And yeah, and I just got a quirky photo. So I know a lot of the stuff that, I don't know if Ezra's talking later, but that Ezra talks about is, you know, get a photo that's really gonna take someone's eye, you know. So it might look a bit odd for the target market, but it actually works. So I just pick a crazy photo, say something like that, and I just do it for $5 a day. And I get really targeted in terms of who I'm actually targeting, because obviously if you've got a page about cooking, then you want them to have interests around that. So get creative about how you target those interests. And like I said, it costs me like 2 cents per click now. So once you get it going, that's when the price starts to come down on Facebook, yeah. So I just run that every day. Yeah, and you have your VAs actually do the tweets and the posting. And the updates. Okay, yeah, terrific. Yeah. So I started doing where they would actually send the content to me and I would check everything. And then when I made sure that they're intuitively, then they start to understand what works, what's getting shared. And then now they just do it automatically. I don't even have to look at it. Okay, so they're creating it right from scratch. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Hello, Kirsty. This is I'm Fletcher Murray.
Hi.
And it's great to meet somebody who's really tall. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog.
Right. Yorkshire Terrier, that's me.
Thanks for sharing that. My main concern is, or the focus I'd like you to go to is, when the Chinese supplier sees you're ramping up your orders, do they ever try to stiff you on the price, or do you have to go to a second or third or fourth vendor, or how do you do that?
No, actually, it's a good point, because in the same way that I try and build a relationship with my VAs, we really try and build a relationship with our suppliers. So if we find, I've only got 2 suppliers, and the only reason I went to another one was because that supplier couldn't make the product. So I just make sure that we build a really good relationship, and now they're actually coming to us with cost reductions, as opposed to us fighting for cost reductions. So I would say, treat your suppliers as part of your business as well. Once you've found a good one, definitely, because they'll do, and then they'll sort problems out for you. So if you've got any problems with, getting it to the port, or there could be something wrong with the packaging, or they'll sort it for you.
Great, thank you.
Just so you know, we only have 1 minute, so we'll take 2 more questions. The rest of you can just swarm her when she comes off the stage.
Go to bed.
So the lady behind the one that's there now, that will be the last question. Sorry, we have to stick to the time.
Hi, my name's Michelle Reynolds.
Hi.
I have a question about your product pages. So when you look at your titles and the features, you say that you tweak your keywords and all that. How much of that do you actually put in the titles and the features? I mean, how short or how long do you keep those?
Mine are kind of mid-size, I suppose. You can see some where the titles are like this long.
Yeah.
And then there's others other categories where Amazon won't allow you to have so much in your title. In my category, it's not like that at the moment. So I probably have about 6 or 7 in the title.
Okay.
And then I put the rest in the bullet points, and then also in the back end of Amazon. But you shouldn't repeat your keywords.
Okay, and they're pretty, you'd say medium length as far as like a title, because I know Amazon's cracking down a little bit on that.
Yeah.
So,
I know some people have tried it where they've actually shortened their title, and it's had good results for them. So I'm gonna test that to see if it has any better results for me. But yeah, I'd stick to maybe 5 in your title.
okay. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lisa Chestnut from St. Louis, and I guess my question is on the Amazon ads. What kind of budget did you set at the beginning for your Amazon ads?
I actually set quite a high budget because I wanted to be first. So if you set your budget for the day higher, then they're more likely to show your product first, because there's no point in doing an Amazon ad, but you're still stuck on page 5. So I did that, and then what you should then do is then have a look at how much it's actually charging you. I have never spent the daily budget that I set. So I set, I think it's $7 per click. I think my average is probably around 60 cents per click. And then I set a budget of $300 a day, but I never spend that at all. So.
Okay, so how do you...
So just play with it and then work out. Because I know there are some categories where you could run out of budget and that it could cost you that much. But just be prepared to do that for one day, and then at least you know which keywords are going to work.
Okay, so I just need to keep playing with my keywords.
Yeah. Your objective is to be on page 1 with your Amazon ads, because, and hopefully first as well. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because otherwise, you're there to drive visibility, but if no one can see you still, there's kind of no point in doing it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, what do we think?
Thank you.
So, obviously, Kirsty, a few people asked what your last name is. So her name is Kirsty Verity, and so I always, it's hard to say it sometimes for me. It's not Christy, it's Kirsty, so just make sure you know that. But thank you so very much. I know everyone here appreciated it, and congratulations on such a successful business.
Thanks,
and we're
guys.
very thankful to have you.